Hi everyone, and welcome to the 4th Financial Services Cloud Symposium for Hong Kong. I'm Laurence Thierry, and I head Market and Business Development for AWS in the financial services industry in Asia Pacific. I have the privilege today to be hosting this symposium. This is the first time we're running the event online, so we hope you will enjoy it. I'm going to kick off this event with a short 30-minute presentation where I'll share some inspirational stories of how financial services companies are using the cloud to innovate and transform. You will then have the opportunity to hear directly from AWS customers and partners in our 12 breakout sessions across 3 tracks: banking and payments, insurance, and capital market. I want to thank our customers and partners who will be presenting. They have generously invested their time and have been extremely flexible in joining us for this event online. There are HSBC, Hong Kong Exchange, FWD Group, YetPay, Crypto.com, and CoverGo. I want to start with a proverb that many of you probably know. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. This proverb is relevant to the current moment in 2 ways. First, it's relevant to the financial services industry as a whole as it deals with this unprecedented disruption caused by COVID-19, which is driving a need for enhanced resiliency as well as reliable means to maintain contacts with customers. The need for financial systems to maintain operational excellence and be available to the communities they serve has never been more acute. We feel that the investments organizations are making in business continuity today will strengthen them over the long term. And that's what we mean when we talk about planting trees. It's never too late to invest in resiliency and strengthening relationship with customers. AWS can help the industry in this regard, in both the immediate and the long term. I'll come back to this point in a moment. Second, I think the proverb is relevant to the current state of financial services industry here in Hong Kong. Hong Kong has been through its share of challenges in the past year or so, which has impacted how the world sees Hong Kong as a financial center. There is no doubt that Hong Kong will come through its challenges stronger. Indeed, Hong Kong's strengths today come from seeds planted in the past. There is no simple way for any city to be a top international financial center. Now, financial institutions are telling us that investing in innovation and new technology is important to improve the short term and to position the recovery. As another proverb goes, dig your well before you are thirsty. This is where AWS can help with both the immediate planting and in nurturing long-term growth. When you build with AWS, you are building with a global cloud infrastructure that is the most secure, extensive, and reliable cloud environment. AWS organizes this infrastructure around regions, which are physical locations around the world where we cluster data centers. We call each group of data centers an availability zone. Today, AWS spans 70 availability zones within 22 geographic regions around the world. We have invested in Hong Kong and launched the Asia-Pacific Hong Kong region in 2019 to help financial institutions build their infrastructure locally and innovate faster while maintaining security and compliance. Now, let me return to my first point on sowing the seeds of resiliency in the face of unprecedented challenges and how AWS is working with the financial services industry to support its business continuity effort. Our customers are concerned about their customers. How can financial institutions stay close to their retail and commercial customers without direct interaction? Our customers are also concerned about the availability, scalability, resiliency, performance, and security of the technology systems that can be used to run efficient business applications. How can financial institutions make sure that the systems they depend on will not only function, but scale to accommodate unique macro and microeconomic conditions? AWS is helping organizations quickly scale their technology and infrastructure to help maintain business continuity during this unprecedented time for global financial markets. Out of consideration for our customers' request for privacy, I won't share their names here, but they have used AWS to remain connected to their own customers and handle unprecedented transaction and trading volumes. For example, we're working with a global bank to quickly scale its cloud-based contact center using Amazon Connect, which will allow agents to work remotely. Amazon Connect is AWS omni-channel cloud contact center service that helps companies provide superior customer service at a lower cost. It is also used by Amazon retail business. We're working also with banks and insurance companies to increase contact center efficiency with web chatbots and voice conversational agents to supplement staff while volumes are at peak level and some physical branches are closed. We're working with a major hedge fund to enable their teams to work from home with cloud desktop and application streaming solutions, including Amazon Workspaces and AWS service that provide a managed, secure desktop as a service solution. And we're working with a global investment bank to further expand its high-performance computing grid to scale in response to unprecedented market volumes and volatility. In addition, we're working with a range of customers to refine their disaster recovery strategies and to make sure that they can continue to function in the most adverse situations. These are all potential opportunities for us to work together during this time to maintain business continuity. I'd like now to pivot to our agenda. First, I want to spend a bit of time discussing where the industry as a whole finds itself today, as we've seen a shift in the way financial institutions are harnessing AWS. Second, I want to talk about some specific trends that are driving this shift. Third, I will cover the industry investment in cultural transformation, which is essential to technology transformation. Fourth, I will share some of the questions that stakeholders in the industry are asking as they look to the future. And then I want to focus on how industry leaders are responding to these questions. At times like these, it can be hard to take a step back and focus on the big picture. But let's try to do just that, and let's look at what we've seen in terms of cloud adoption in the industry over the past 5 years through the lens of AWS re:Invent. AWS re:Invent is a yearly learning conference for the global cloud computing community, and it provides an insightful snapshot of the industry progress. In 2015, AWS was just starting to create a dedicated practice focused on financial services, and our customers were harnessing AWS to become more resilient and spin up sandbox environments to develop new products. Rob Alexander, the CIO of Capital One, spoke about how the bank was using AWS for dev and test and to reduce its data center footprint. Fast forward to today, and Capital One is planning to close its last 3 data centers this year. In 2016, firms were focused on risk management, disaster recovery, and AWS as infrastructure. Steve Randich, EVP and CIO of FINRA, spoke about moving to AWS to gain massive performance improvements in its stock market surveillance system. In 2017, the industry was starting to think a bit bigger, focusing on security and compliance, account management, and how to enable adoption at scale. Roy Joseph, Managing Director at Goldman Sachs, shared how Goldman Sachs is using AWS Key Management System and the Bring Your Own Key capability to secure its cloud environment. He also explained how demand for stronger risk management drives a need for more calculation, which means more compute, and the public cloud is the best way to meet that need. In 2018, interest was in innovation, digital channels, pockets of machine learning, and automation. Dean Del Vecchio, the CIO of Guardian Life, spoke about how this 150-year-old firm had a cloud-first strategy, was committed to a digital transformation on behalf of its customers, and launched its new digital platform called Guardian Direct. In 2019, those who had planted their trees early were moving on to transformation and migrating the applications that are key to their business. David Solomon, Chairman and CEO of Goldman Sachs, spoke about how the company is migrating its securities database to AWS and building new cloud-based businesses on AWS. For example, Goldman Sachs built the credit card platform, which underpins Apple Card in partnership with Apple and MasterCard on AWS. At the AWS London FSI Cloud Symposium last year, Joe Hannaford, partner in engineering at Goldman Sachs, talked about how Goldman Sachs was able to improve development productivity by building the Goldman Sachs online consumer business platform called Marcus in just 11 months. She also shared how she talks to the board in London about provisioning resources on AWS, which creates additional opportunities to increase revenue, business agility, and access to innovation software made available by AWS. The world of 2020 is already different from any other we've known, and we are seeing a renewed focus on the fundamentals and ensuring strong foundations. These changes we've all undergone recently are exactly why now is the time for those of you who haven't taken that first step yet to take it. What was cutting edge 5 years ago is now very basic, and what originally took 4 years can now be accomplished in 6 months or a year, enabling you to grow much more quickly. When we look out on the forest of financial services today, we see big redwood trees with roots that are decades old. We also see saplings that are growing quickly. Similarly, financial services organizations around the world are at different stages of maturity in their cloud adoption. They're using cloud technology to transform and modernize their existing applications and to innovate more quickly and more frequently and build new products and services to serve their demanding customers. Hong Kong today is a microcosm of the global forest represented on this slide, with incumbents and new entrants innovating and investing in their cloud capabilities to differentiate themselves today and to remain competitive tomorrow. We are very thankful to our customer speakers who will be presenting today. They have already planting their seeds in the cloud and are sharing their stories to help accelerate the growth of the entire ecosystem. The sessions you'll see today feature an amazing lineup of marquee financial services customers that will be sharing their journey on the cloud. HSBC, one of the world's largest banking and financial services organizations, will share how its wealth management IT team made the decision to migrate to AWS in 2019, modernize its application stack, adopted a cloud-native architecture, and successfully completed the migration in just 9 months. In the process, they improve operational efficiency and achieve scalability and elasticity. Hong Kong Exchange, a leading financial market operator, will tell us about its approach to data security and privacy, and its vision on how an event-driven architecture will drive innovation. FWD Group, the insurance business of Pacific Century Group, will share how it uses the cloud to run and simplify big data analytics. By building a data lake on AWS, FWD was able to automate and expedite claim processing, down to the same day in some cases, and release a first-of-its-kind chatbot that allows customers to file claims in minutes. YetPay is an all-in-one payment platform for merchants. YetPay will be sharing how it migrated its payment applications to the cloud while maintaining compliance with HKMA and PCI DSS standards. CoverGo, an insurtech company, will share how it leverages AWS to innovate in the insurance industry using Open Insurance API. And finally, Crypto.com is a fintech focused on cryptocurrency businesses, will share how it leverages AWS to deploy a secure and resilient infrastructure to run their cryptocurrency platform. Now I'd like to spend a few minutes discussing some of the trends that are driving the migration of business-critical applications to AWS. While there are a number of broad macro trends that have been driving the move to the cloud for several years, today I want to highlight 4 specific developments that are propelling companies to move their business-critical applications to AWS. The first one, regulators are driving change. Globally, we see regulators looking beyond supervision to proactively remove blockers and create enablers that accelerate the digitalization of the financial services ecosystem. Hong Kong is a great example of this, where regulators are actively reshaping the financial services landscape for a more resilient, agile, customer-centric, and ultimately a more digital future. Like many other regulators around the world, regulators in Hong Kong are opening up markets with new banking and insurance licenses, creating new ecosystems with open banking, and removing frictions with new digital infrastructure. When it comes to enabling new digital-only entrants, Hong Kong has been proactive in licensing 8 virtual banks and 2 virtual insurers. It's part of a global trend of digital native entering into financial services, as we have also seen around the world and specifically in Asia. New digital infrastructure built by regulators are also transforming the customer experience of everyday financial services, from new instant payment schemes to blockchain platform for trade finance and cross-border payments. With these changes, it is an opportunity for financial services companies to look beyond minimum compliance and focus on what is unlocked with these new licenses, regulations, and infrastructure. Whether we hear this as digital first or digital by default, it's now increasingly the norm for new ventures, businesses, or products to be designed, built, and supported as a digital service. Organizations that are digital by default have turned to tools like design thinking, DevOps, and agile development. We overwhelmingly see digital by default firms as cloud first or cloud native. Cloud first is not just for digital native businesses, but is also for those companies that are more advanced in their digital transformation. Vanguard, a large investment management company based in the US, is a good example. At reInvent 2019, Jeff Dodds, IT executive of Vanguard, provided an overview of the organization's effort to move its large application estate to AWS. He also talked about the strategic decision the company made to host a critical emerging advisory platform on AWS. Indeed, many financial institutions like Vanguard that are in the midst of a large-scale migration to AWS have mandated that all new application development should take place in the cloud. The customers I talk to love our pace of innovation. We're unusually customer-focused, and 90% of what we build is driven by what customers tell us matters. And the other 10% are things we hear from customers where they may not articulate exactly what they want, but we try to read between the lines and invent on their behalf. We rely on this customer feedback to guide us in the adaptation, expansion, and evolution of our services to accommodate new business applications, new types of volumes of data, or new magnitudes of traffic. So thank you for helping us to deliver the services you really need. For example, NASDAQ, an equities exchange based out of New York, is also a technology and service provider to over 120 different exchanges, regulators, and post-trade entities. Back in November 2019, before the massive shift we've recently undergone, NASDAQ would load and process between 30 and 60 million records in its AWS data lake every night. In this unprecedented time, we imagine that number may have changed and may continue to change on a daily basis in the days and weeks to come. But NASDAQ is able to accommodate spikes in data volume by taking advantage of database and storage services that have evolved over time. The cloud has made it easy for organizations to test new ideas and develop new products, and financial institutions have really taken advantage of the ability to innovate without taking on huge cost and huge risk. Now, financial institutions can avoid a lengthy, error-prone sequential process and test hypotheses before committing investment. This enables faster development as they think big, start small, and fail fast. We're seeing organizations apply this spirit of experimentations, particularly when it comes to data. For example, Discover Financial Services, an American financial services company, wanted to use its data to gain deeper insight into its customer and deliver a stronger customer experience. Discover chose to build an internal data science workbench on AWS to promote more collaboration and shift its open source storage system to AWS, enabling it to reduce cost, simplify management, and increase scalability. These are some of the recent changes we've seen that have resulted in more financial institutions moving business-critical applications to the cloud. I want to take a moment to expand on the point I just made about the industry growing appetite for experimentation, because a broad change is taking place within the industry, and we're just at the beginning. I'm talking about culture. Why is culture transformation such an important issue? The shift from physical infrastructure and traditional service models entails significant shift in thinking, not just the adoption of new technology. To go from the left side of the screen, costly data center branches, traditional broker models, to the right side of the screen, pay-as-you-go, microservices, mobile platforms, smart contact centers, and chatbots require changes that transcend technology implementation. In his keynote at our most recent reInvent conference, AWS CEO Andy Jassy outlined 4 transformation imperatives, and it's remarkable that many of them are not technology-focused. First, you need to figure out how to get your senior team aligned that you are going to make this change. Second, you need an aggressive top-down goal that forces the organization to move faster than it organically otherwise would or think it possibly could. Third, you gotta have a team of train builders. And then the fourth thing that's important to do is to make sure you keep moving. Avoid letting the organization get paralyzed, even if you haven't been able to figure out how to move every last workload. The financial institutions have planted their seeds early on and are taking a holistic approach with training and upskilling the workforce, defining and implementing a target model for the cloud, and driving cultural transformation. The surge in the migration of mission-critical applications to the cloud has only been possible because of a shift in the underlying culture of the industry. Previously, IT and business professionals knew that the old way of provisioning infrastructure was prohibitive in upfront investment and time, but the system worked for them. Once cloud technology became available, it started to draw out a demand for something better, and we're seeing the lag between technology and culture change start to narrow. There is always going to be a delay or rational resistance where the new way of working needs to be developed. But after a while, irrational resistance becomes the bigger blocker. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt are still prevalent, but they are slowly being displaced by the realization that not moving fast enough is far greater risk than not moving at all. These are some of the financial institutions that have invested in changing their culture and who are starting to see the benefits. Guardian Life Insurance is a 150 years old US insurance and wealth management services provider. Guardian started with transforming its workplace and investing in its people, and transformed this highly regulated business into an innovative company. Macquarie, an Australian multinational financial services company, established a test and learn mentality to deliver better response times to clients and roll out new business features like unlimited search and natural language processing. The bank achieved this by partnering the risk management and business technology divisions for faster change. AXA is a French multinational insurance firm that engages in global insurance, investment management, and other financial services. For AXA, the first challenge of cloud migration was culture. AXA wanted to move the cloud to retire its technical debts, enhance its security, and release new products and services faster. They launched a cloud program focusing on the cloud business benefits and encouraging their entities to work together. In 2019, AXA managed to move 20% of their application to the cloud, none of which were lift and shift. HSBC, one of the world's largest banking and financial services organizations, built cross-functional teams combining business and technology in order to reduce complexity and adopt agile methodologies. The industry has made tremendous progress in tackling some of the biggest barriers to transformation. What lies ahead for the industry as it gains both experience and confidence in taking advantage of the cloud? A lot can change in a short period of time. It's instructive to compare the questions we used to hear from customers, even as recently as 2 years ago, with the question we hear from them now. Companies used to wonder whether they could operate in a secure and compliant way in the cloud. Now they're asking how they can implement continuous compliance on AWS. Companies used to ask us which financial institutions are experimenting with machine learning. Now they're asking how they themselves can scale the use of machine learning across their organization with the help of AWS services. Companies used to ask us which non-critical application would be good candidates to run in the cloud. Now they're asking how they can run their most critical core systems on AWS. And last, companies used to see cloud as a way to reduce cost. Now they are seeking guidance on how to best launch net new businesses quickly and securely on AWS. The shift in intent shows that financial institutions have quickly become much more comfortable with cloud technology and that they are actively looking for new ways to apply their technology to transform their businesses. Where these companies previously took a more reactive stance to new technology, now they are actively looking to use it in new ways and broaden adoption across their organization. Let's now take a closer look at the questions that the industry is asking today and see how a select group of leaders is responding. How can I implement continuous compliance in the cloud? Atom International Technology worked with the London Stock Exchange Group technology to begin developing Atom Asset Exchange, AX, as an open trading platform for digital assets. AX's mission is twofold: to bring institutional-grade practices to retail trading and to make crypto assets available to institutional investors. They use AWS for intelligent threat monitoring, securing blockchain keys, and to automate the management of open-source databases. As a result, they've proven their technologies use in more than 40 traditional finance markets and exchanges. How can I scale use of machine learning across my organization? Intuit, with its products and platforms like QuickBooks and TurboTax, uses machine learning to provide better services to their customers, whether it's for categorizing transactions or determining patterns and anomalies in data. One of their features pulls a year worth of bank transactions and finds deductible business expenses through their machine learning algorithm. Amazon SageMaker is a fully managed AWS service that provides the ability to build, train, and deploy machine learning models quickly. Amazon SageMaker has helped Intuit reduce deployment time by 90%, from 6 months to 1 week. How can I run critical core systems in the cloud? Bowtie runs its core system platforms, including policy administration, claims and underwriting applications on AWS. Building on top of AWS has allowed Bowtie to ensure the company operates a secure and available application as required of a licensed insurers. How can I use the cloud to launch a new business quickly and securely? WeLab was able to build its virtual bank in less than 1 year after being awarded one of the first virtual banking licenses in Hong Kong. WeLab was able to save at least 2 months of development and deployment time by running on AWS because the company didn't have to procure hardware and spend time provisioning compute and storage capacity in a data center. By running on AWS, WeLab has the agility and scalability it needs to easily expand its offering. In conclusion, I want to briefly outline some practical steps that organizations that have recently started to invest in cloud can take now to carve a trail towards future adoption. AWS offers programs to help you with each of them. First, you can set up a dedicated network connections to AWS using Amazon Direct Connect, which enables private connectivity between AWS and your data center, office, or colocation environment. You can then establish a landing zone, which is a secure, compliant environment that you can use to deploy initial applications. AWS training and certification teams can work with you to design a customized training program tailored to specific roles to help your builders develop the skills they need to run applications in the cloud. We are now also delivering all of our public and private classes virtually, so check our online library and get started now. AWS partners and AWS professional services team can provide expert guidance to help perform a cloud security assessment to help make sure your infrastructure is secure. AWS offers a free-to-use well-architected tool that can help you review the state of the application you've migrated and compare them to the latest AWS architectural best practices. Or you can engage AWS or one of our partners to perform a well-architect review, which will evaluate your application using the 5 pillars of the well-architect framework: operational excellence, security, reliability, performance efficiency, and cost optimization. These are steps you can take today to make your business more secure, more agile, and more innovative. This is a difficult time for the financial services industry, for Hong Kong, and for the world. We recognize the disruption that COVID-19 is causing for our customers, and their partners, which is why we wanted to conclude our session with practical steps that organizations can take now that will help them in both the immediate and the long term. That's what we mean when we say that it's always the right time to plant trees and invest in innovation and transformation. It's a reminder not to wait until you are thirsty to dig your well. For those who haven't yet taken the first steps, you will be surprised at how quickly you can pivot to becoming digital by default. And collectively, we'll grow a forest of trees, both young and old. Thank you for spending your time with us. We wish you good health and safety in the weeks and months to come.